Hello, people. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're already live and it's also streaming on YouTube for anyone that wants to join us through the YouTube channel. Then Deep is already here with us. So we want to give it a few more minutes to get people that participated in the design. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're already. Okay, sorry for that cut. I was streaming in multiple channels, so I was echoing. So yeah, like I
Yeah,
was saying, we are giving room for other people to join us.
yeah,
And
definitely.
yes, so just a few more minutes. We'll start by 7. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to get right into it, okay? So be patient with us while those that participated join us so that we
Yeah,
can review their work while they are here. But if they don't join us quickly enough, we'll work with the materials we already have. Thank you for your timeliness. So Deep will just give them a few more minutes, then we'll jump right into it. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So, I believe that the rest of the people will be joining us late, but thankfully, it's being recorded and streaming on YouTube so they can watch the replay. Okay, so firstly, I will have to introduce myself again. We don't get tired of introducing ourselves. My name is Frances Aborigo, the founder of Shimej, host of Shinovate Africa Conference, and this is actually a review, yeah, with our wonderful Deep. And this live session is reviewing the challenge that we had previously, the design marathon that happened in the month of June towards the Shinovate Africa conference. So it was intended to help as many women as we can find as that willing to build their portfolio from product design. So we have a lot of things coming up, but this is our first step to it, and the participants were very rewarding. And we saw how much effort they put into it, daily reports, daily assignment, tasks, and all that. We really appreciate everyone that made out time to be part of this challenge and the marathon. And those that wish to, and those that wish to join us, I'm very much happy that they are willing to. And those that are actually working on the challenge on their own, that have come to meet me directly to say, I did this, but I couldn't submit within the timeline. I still appreciate and give you the thumbs up because every single step of the way, you're building your portfolio. So thank you for joining us live. Thank you for your time. So one good thing about being live with us is that you're going to be able to answer deep questions. You can ask him why he said this about this, and he's going to introduce himself very shortly. And while he introduces himself, he's going to show us some recent jobs he has done because I know he has a portfolio of jobs. Like I've known Deep for quite some time, and I know he's a very passionate designer. He's so much into details. If you say I'm into details, there's someone better than I am. So I give him thumbs up. And also, I want to appreciate him for joining us because of the time difference. He's supposed to be in bed right now, resting for the day's work. It's 12. Is it midnight yet? Something thereabouts. Okay, you're
It's
muted.
midnight. Yeah, sorry for that. It's
It's
midnight,
almost
like it's around
it's
12.
it's almost 12. Yes. So you
Yeah,
can imagine he's spending this time with us, how much of sacrifice he's making for us. And we are truly grateful for that. Thank you, Deep. So I won't want to keep it too long. And my expectation is that this live session is going to last for just 1 hour. Just 1 hour. And we'll go and work on the things that he has shared with us. So not to waste much of our time, I'm giving the table over to Deep. So you can introduce yourself, share with us everything. The stage is yours. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. This is my first time, to interact in the Zoom meet. So, and ma'am gives me a very good words, like very details. I work as a very detail. I showcase very detailed work. So that's all about my backward, like behind the 4 years of my degree, the design degree, which I learned from my mentors, and I want to showcase that how as a designer should approach if she or he get any design problem. So that's the thing. And yep. So I'm actually want to showcase something like very important. Like I have go through some projects, some assignment, and I like underline some of the basics foundation problem, like UI's problem, typography, the spacings, and these other things. So before going to this assignment, I want to showcase my case studies and my portfolio, which you can go through it in the medium articles. And yeah, so I'm sharing my screen. uh, is it visible to everyone?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I recently done my portfolio, like in the framers, and I want to showcase us very small details, like case studies that you can read and like you can read and can explore the things. Like, so basically this case study is all about a fintech company.
Hey, hold
um,
on, please. Heidi, please, can you share the link of this document you're sharing with us? Can you share the link in the comments
yeah,
so we
definitely.
can, yeah, access it on our own, even after now? Thank you.
So there you go. So I will not take through the whole case study. Am I visible to you, like my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yep, thank you.
So I would not go to the very much details of the case studies. I want to showcase the like why and what is the importance of case studies, and how should we approach if you as a designer get any problem statement. So basically the importance is to highlights your key area, the key interest point. Like if you are interested in UX design, then your responsibility is very different. If you are a UI designer, then your responsibility is very different. That's the main issue, that's the main thing that I want to showcase the skill set, like the case study. And this is one of your like assignment. um, I go through this assignment multiple times, and I already mentioned some comments on the on one of your assignment. Like there is some issues, like there are some mistakes that uh, the designer, one of the designer made mistakes. Like there is some issues, like there are several difference of fundamentals, like typography and the spacings and the color. So the main things I want to showcase to build a design system, to learn a design systems from the different part of resources and learn from it. This is the thing. And I want to highlight something like I designed some design systems, and I took inspiration from one of the great and famous design system untitled UI. There's a very good and free resources. You can go through it and you can know how the design system is important for as a UI designer. So basically, this is the thing I want to showcase. And yeah, and is there any questions or anything that you want to ask me? Like, and after that, I will give answer to details. Uh, Hello.
Okay, hi. Yeah, thank you for that. That was a quick one anyway. So,
Yeah.
I believe that you, like you said, you have gone through that design severally, and there was
Yeah.
quite a lot of things that you feel get this light in the touch. So there's quite a lot of things you feel that could be improved. So I'm thinking probably you can take them one after the other. Maybe let's talk about
Yeah.
typography on that particular design.
Yeah.
Or, yep, typography, like you mentioned, not errors in spelling. So probably that's an oversight, but I believe that there is a way to improve on that. So probably, what would you do in her case? Yeah, where she made that mistake and what brought her to
Okay.
that? What do you think can be done better? So you can show us examples of what you've done or something similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that any other person that has any question, you can drop in the chat or feel free to ask live. Raise your hand and we will respond to you. It's a relaxed environment, so no stress, no judging. Thank you.
So should I start? Like, what's the typography? Like, typography, according to me, according to designer, typography is a very important and crucial roles for the users for the product. And I want to highlight some key points that we, as a designer, as a UI designer, should always be careful. Like the line heights, the important things, the spacings, between the different headings or the different sections. And we have to understand the css units, like what is the difference between the pixels, what is the rem, what is the em, and how these are the very different with each other. And uh, and I want to give a small details about pixels and rem. So pixels, REM basically used for the adaptive design and responsive design, which helps to typographically easily fit to the different platform, like different platforms, like web, tablet, and phones. That's why we use REM and EM. And pixels is little bit different, and which is directly uh, a set of points, a set of uh, a pixel is all about a set of things. It doesn't falls under the adaptive and responsive design. So this is the things I want to highlight. So here the main problem, the problem, she already I mean she already, I mean, clear it out after the feedbacks. So this is the thing I want to highlight. So that's it.
Yeah, it's a pity. Yeah, it's a pity the person, like the person that submitted that actually locks her work, because it would have been easy to
Yeah,
edit and show her this is a sample of what you would do. So that notwithstanding, we can look at other ways to help her. So
yeah,
probably, what's the standard spacing for that kind of area? That's how do we choose our spacings, you understand? So now, for
okay,
instance, your design mobile app, so there are sequence to these things. There are
yeah,
tiny sets. There are cards, spacing between cards. How do you determine that with your design? Okay, I know you mentioned quite a few things. You talk about pixels, you talk about spacing. So at this situation now, what's your standard process of choosing spacing between
okay.
texts and items? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sharing with my notepads, and I can highlights with by drawing. So
Oh, great, great.
give me 1 second.
No problem. Okay.
So basically, is it visible my screen?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
it's the whiteboard you're trying to share, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I personally I use two things. Like if I choose the platform, like for mobile, then I use 4 pixel grid system. And if I use the desktop for the design, then I use the 8 pixel grid point. And from this, we can, this is very important for as a designer to understand the spacing that you told about me, how much uh, space we should took up, like if I design different cards or sections for the page. So we I personally approach the 4 into 4 into something that is divisible by 4, and for the mobile, and for the desktop I use the 8-point grid system. So this is the pretty common rule as a UI designer to help you out.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So thankfully, Adenike is here. Tanika, I remember seeing your work, your submission, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Adenike, if you are free to share your screen,
yeah.
yeah, so that we can view yours because you're live, then that would be amazing. Okay. But that notwithstanding, that while you're preparing, I hope you're ready to share your screen. Nike, let me hear from you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please, can you give me some minutes?
No
Good
problem,
evening.
no problem. Take your time,
Yeah.
because
All
I know
right.
I did not tell you ahead of time. So yeah, we're ready
Thank
to
you.
wait. So fine, that's the privilege of being live with us. So while you're talking about spacing, yeah, I see that. Yeah, when you mentioned when you're working on mobile, you use the four pixels and something that is divisible by four. So we're talking about 4, 8, 16, what
Yeah,
else? 24, and we keep increasing like that. So what that's good. Then when you come to website, you start with 8, the spacings of 8. But
yeah,
also remember that when there are spacings, you think about the size. When you look at the principles of design, so when things are pretty big, you give it more spacing. So you not
yeah,
say because I say it's 8 pixels, when items are meant to be spaced out wider, you will have to use 8. No, they will be too close to themselves. So you use multiples of 8. So let's just
8.
bear that in mind, especially for those of us that are not product designers, that are trying to get into the field you're learning. So you guys
Yeah,
to pay attention to these things. That's the only thing that will make your work consistent. There's one thing I used to say when I'm teaching in my product
yeah,
design class. I say the difference between you that is a beginner and a professional is obeying rules, following principles. Principles have been laid bare for us to use. So the reason why we come to judge your work is to remind you there are principles you're not observing. So when I see your work, and I always say it, when I see your work and see the job of a professional, I know the difference because of obeying principles. Or when you want to break the rules, when you want to break the rules, you break it professionally and smartly, like in a very good way that people might want to adopt your style. But when you want to break the rules and destroy the whole system, it will be obvious. So that's the same reason why I can tell the difference between a professional work and a beginner's work. But there is a point where everything gets to merge. The moment the beginner begins to obey the rules, her work becomes better and could be accepted. And one thing about product design is that UI UX design is that you're not here to impress anybody. You're here to serve the customer, the user. So when we talk about consistency, user aesthetics, and the rest of them, what we are trying to do is to make sure that your user feels comfortable using your tool. Have you noticed that when you use a lot of bank apps, they all look similar, as if they were copying each other? They are following the fact that you get to use some items, you get used to it, you expect to see it elsewhere, and it's easy for you to navigate without thinking. So something happened today. I'm used to making calls with my WhatsApp application, so I know where the buttons are without looking at it. So once I put on my WhatsApp, I don't like using a direct ear devices, so I quickly put the microphone. So today, I was about to make a call and I put it on. I wanted to press the microphone speaker. I found it wasn't where I used to, and I saw many other buttons. I went, oh, that's true. They have updated. So now, imagine if this situation happened to a user in a very bad way. So for instance, I want to click send money and I find send again, something like that. Mistakenly, I transfer money into the wrong place and I'm in trouble. So you as a user should find out whenever you want to make an update, or you as a designer should pay attention to details. What are the likeliness that your user is going to make a mistake to prevent it? We call it error prevention. So this is not a full class of product design, but actually we're trying to help you that is already in the field. So the reason why this kind of marathon and design challenge is very important is because a lot of us learn from different places. A lot of us have different tutors. And one thing we don't have control of what the teacher is going to teach you. So by the time they're done teaching you, you really need to understand industry standards. You need to understand world standards so that everywhere you are, your work will be competitive. So that's why we are here talking about this, because I believe everybody in your own eye, your work is cool. Your work is perfect. You don't even know why your employer is saying that your job is not popping. You know that usual Nigerian slang that this job is not popping. There's something about it. I'm not feeling it. The reason why the person is not feeling it is that you have not bought into the person's bias or maybe impress the person the way he desires. And what is that person looking for? What he or she is familiar with. Don't be surprised. They have seen something and they want you to replicate it. So the best thing is to find out from your user from the very beginning of your design to the end. You just make sure that they're involved. Okay? It's not, I don't even want to go to where some of your employers or some people that engage you, your clients will come up with some outrageous ideas, like some colors that doesn't work with that field and all the rest of them. And you have to. But at this point in time, you're not trying to play smart or being super smart, you understand? But in this case, you're trying to help them understand there are principles to this, and you are creating for the user, not for your own benefit. Remember, you're creating for the user. So aside from that, we're talking about spacing, typography, consistency, and the rest of them. We're trying to help you to make your work as professional as possible so that you can land that job with Facebook, Google, and anywhere, and they will not say that your work is not. Because some of these places you're going to work, they already have a system. They have a design system, they have their colors, they have their brand identity. So you're not coming to add anything new. You're coming to create more items, come up with ideas and stick with their own pattern. So how will you be consistent if you have these little errors in your work? So we're going to look at that. So I'm waiting, Adenike, if you're free, I'm going to bring you up to come and share your screen so we can look at it and talk about it together, okay? So once you're ready to share your screen, please, you can raise your hand. I'll know you're pretty ready. Then aside from Nike, does any other person want to share her recent job? Let's look at it, review, and in the next 30 minutes, we'll all be saying good night to ourselves. Okay, so Deep, what do you have to say about the conversation, like things I've mentioned now, talking about industry standard, consistency, similarity, and error prevention?
Like the foundations of design very much important for the senior designer, for the junior designer, both are same. So we should, as a product designer, we should always focus we should focus on user as well as the business, like how these two things can help. Like you are focusing on two sections, one users, one business. And in the middle of it, you are in the middle, and you have to understand and analyze the things and combine the both, like business and the users needs to align to design this product. That's called user centric design. So this is a small like intro about user centric design. There's lots of things like you are mute.
Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't know I was muted. I actually didn't want to interrupt you, but okay, thank you for sharing that. You mentioned something that is very much a key point. You said you are working for the user as much as you're doing business. There's a business side to it. So that's one thing I did not mention. So the reason why your client called you to create that design is the business while you're creating for the user. But remember, it's the users that will bring in the business and make the business a possibility. So if your users are telling you that your app is not accessible, it's not usable, it doesn't function as it's expected to, business will not occur. So aside from the fact that your product is meant to be, serve all the purpose for the user to make use of it, you still need, just like they say, client is the king, the user is the king now. And like I said, carry them along from the beginning of the journey till the end. They will direct you how to serve them. What is product design? So let's do a little bit of an introduction of what product design is all about. We have met a lot of things. For those that will be watching the review, some will be asking, okay, so let's see if we can get to know about product design. So what's the difference between graphic design and product design? Are they not designing things like you get to see them? Mobile app, I can do that with Photoshop. Why must we not use simple apps or Canva, right? So let's come back to the subject of what is a product. So just like you would explain it to a child, a 5-year-old, a product is anything you can use. So any item in your house, you can make use of. Your cup, your spoon, your chairs, your table, your bed, your clothes, everything is a product. But when we are in a conversation of UI UX product design, we are talking of digital products. Okay. So when we talk about products, that's the definition of product, things that are created for you to make use of and make your life easy. Okay. So then we enter into the definition of user experience and user interface. So like, what's the difference between the two? So user experience, user interface, and some people can design only on Canva and call themselves UI UX designers. So they just went to, sorry, can use Figma rather. Figma is a tool, just like Canva and the rest of them that you know, but this is specifically created is interactive tool for creating mobile application and web applications. So anything that has to do with product designs. Figma is one tool. It's not the only, because there are many others that do the same, that does the same function like Adobe XD and the rest. But we are focusing on Figma because it's the one that makes our life easy. Just like when we hit Microsoft Office, we stop using any other word processing document application. We just focused on Word, Microsoft Office, popularly known as 365 now. So Figma is the simplest and the cheapest of them all. So we all get used to it and easy to use. So we focus on.
And
Okay, you're saying
and
something.
yeah, and earlier there is an XD, the most popular things, and after that,
Oh, you say, I think you prefer XD, right? Yes. So
yes,
I'm a Figma fan, if that's the case. I love Figma. It makes it easy for me. So yes, exit is equally easy. But because of Adobe family, they make some things pay, some things
mm,
free. But Figma gave us freedom. Like every other
yeah,
Nigerian likes it free. So we are enjoying the free access. That same Figma you are using, someone has used it to make billions and in dollars. You are
mm,
using it right now. So the thing is, understand the business side of your freelancing job. So we're still in the definition of UI UX, so let me not digress a lot. So user experience and user interface design. User experience is that thing that happens to your user when they come in contact with your device or your product. Okay. When we talk about products now, we're talking about mobile application and web application, which we popularly known as websites or web forum or anything you do on the web that people interact with is more like websites, web forum, web application, whatever it is on the web. It's generally called web app. Mobile app is everything you can see on your device. So when we talk about user experience, my experience is when I get access to your application, what your user go through before they access your product, achieve whatever aim they come with. So someone signs up on my mobile application to transfer money to her family. She does that successfully. She has an experience. Then she might refer my app to someone, and someone else comes to use my application and it's not working. Now it's not internet problem. It's my app that is not functioning. So maybe there's a bug. The user has an experience, which he or she's going to give me a review or give me a feedback. And this is not functioning. I should get it better. So when you're creating any solution for anyone, you start with what does that person need? How do I solve his or her problem? What can I create as a product that I have the ability to create to solve that person's nightmare, that person's pain point? So we go through a lot of process to get this thing done. That is why user experience is more in-depth, understanding your users, knowing what they need, how to solve their problem, following guidelines. So those guidelines, we call them frameworks. So you hear things like design system, you find out, empathize before you create and all that, before you get your work tested and launched into the general public. This is what the user experience process is like. So a product designer is like an architect, okay? So when houses are built, cars are made and all that, who do we give thumbs up to? We call out the architects. So when you see Burj Khalifa and the rest of them and you say, these buildings are so beautiful, do you call the electrician or do you call the bricklayer? You don't. You call the architect. That is who the product designer is when it comes to product development. Okay? So the product designer comes up with the idea, but first of all, he doesn't come up with an idea without finding a problem to solve. So that's why we do a lot of research, ask questions, we get people, what's your pain point and all that. Deep has a whole lot of research work. Like anytime I have a conversation with Deep, I learn a lot because he's always inside the interior looking out for solution. There are some outstanding products he had, and even the one he worked on when he was still in school, and even when he got to his place of work.
Education is important for the adolescents, and what's the benefits and what's the merit and demerit if we as a parents or the guardians not giving a proper sex education to the child, to our child.
Yes. So there are some topics that are pretty taboo to us, and our locality may not be talking about it so well. So probably is a taboo in our vicinity to talk about it. But you want to solve this problem and bring about change. Remember, we are focused on innovation, disruption, and navigating new frontiers. So if you're eager to disrupt, you're going to annoy a lot of people. And how do you cause disruption? By reaching out from your outside your comfort zone, conduct research, understand what system, what problems you can solve. You can see in history, a lot of the scientists, a lot of science breakthrough were done when some people moved out of Europe and went to the Americas. You understand? A lot of people had to make that drastic change to cause change to happen, right? So, or maybe that drastic move or leaving their homes forever to move to a new place that support their belief. But this is not our goal here right now. I'm trying to let you to understand that when it comes to problem solving, sometimes your vicinity might not be the answer. You might go far and wide, find the result, bring it back home, and that disruption begins to happen and people's mindsets begins to change. So I want to confirm that we're still streaming on YouTube. If someone can, please help me check because I'm seeing some
Yes.
kind of delay. Is it showing on YouTube? Oh, okay. Outside the comfort zone. Okay, yeah, yeah, we're still streaming live on YouTube. So that's great. So as it is right now, we as product designers are like problem solvers. So we don't sit down and try to create beautiful products. No, we are out to solve people's problem in the simplest way possible. So user experience is more ingrained in our activity just to make sure that users have solutions. We want to solve problems. So the person you're solving a problem for should appreciate it, not by force, but by reception that I actually solved his problem. So then we go over to the next side of UI UX, the UI design. The UI is user interface design. So just like the normal English word, like I want to explain to a child what you get to see, just like the face is the user interface. So the user interface is like everything you can see and touch in that mobile app or web app on your screen. So when you go on Facebook, you can see your button, your like button, the share button, everything. They all are bits and elements of user interface. Okay, user interface, the accessible parts. You cannot touch user experience, but you can touch the interface. So some big companies where things are well organized and stratified, we have user experience department different from user interface. So you're not doing the two. But for startups and small companies, you have them united. One person is serving the same purpose. So for some of us, when you work as a live team, as a team with live group, you find out that you don't do everything. Even some responsibilities you might have to do, a data scientist or a data analyst might just help you to get the data, visualize it, and cut down some of your work. You might just start as a user experience design, start doing some things like architects. Sorry, what what am I trying to say? So you have to do a very much good work in your job. So you're going to do your own part, and in some certain organization, your responsibility is changed. So there is this advent of UI UX engineer. This is new and it's becoming more popular. Yeah, UX engineers. So you're not just writing, conducting research, creating design. Now you're writing small codes involved, doing a little bit of front end, but I'm not going to talk about that. Today is Deep's day, so I want him to be the one talking about this. So tell me what you know about user UX engineering. Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, is it my hello? Am I audible?
You're very audible. I can hear you
Yeah.
and I can see you.
So I'm not familiar with the UI UX engineer. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, basically I have perceptions about UI UX. Engineering is all about the front end, and who knows the Figma, like the basic basic fundamentals of Figmas and UIs, and he or she can also know the front end development like coding. So I think that's the pretty much things the UI UX engineers is all about.
Okay. So yes, engineers get to do a whole lot of back work, back end work. But you know,
Yeah,
one good thing is that there are a lot of applications to assist you. There are no code, like no code makes life a lot easier. No code
yeah,
applications. So you are designing, and as you're designing, is coming to life. Like it's not on Figma for you to display and animate and make it a make believe kind of situation. It's coming up live. So there are many applications that can help you achieve that. So as you're designing is writing the code. And one beautiful thing is that as you're designing with Figma, Figma is equally writing codes for you. So it makes it easy for you to lift some, that's the developer mode, and do a lot of things. So Figma is getting better by the day. Now we have Figma slides and every other thing. I don't even want to go into that. We'll take our time to unbox the whole thing a little later. But for now, we're talking about reviewing other people's work, right? So, Nike, are you ready for your work? So we have 10 more minutes to go if there is nothing else to share.
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Am I to
Uh,
share the PDF file
PDF,
or
no,
I
I
should
would have loved to share the Figma file so we can view, yeah, while you make
okay.
changes. So no, we
All
may
right.
not require you to make changes directly because of time, but at
Okay.
least mention here and there where you need to make changes.
Okay, okay. I'll open it up.
Okay.
Should I go? Okay. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming through. It's coming through.
Yeah, is it? It is visible,
Oh
clear.
yeah. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. So so this is an e-commerce website. This I see my screen.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So this is the landing page.
Okay,
This is how the landing page looks like.
so I have some questions about your design. So should I? Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So why you use the which typeface you are using and why you used it, and meanwhile the color also.
I didn't get your question.
Like, what is your typeface? What is the name of your typeface and why you use this typeface? There are several different of typeface, right?
Okay.
So
Okay,
why?
actually, okay.
Yeah.
Being a more or less like a fashion website where you see fashion accessories and all, I feel like this looks more beautiful for for that kind of purpose. So I decided to go with this because of that.
And what about the color? I mean, why you use the color? Do I know the psychology behind the color?
Okay. I don't know. I just feel like okay,
So
I I guess okay, in Africa we actually use leather a lot. So I think I got a brown color, a picture that has I think brown color. So I decided to just go with the color because I feel like it looks good. So why not? I tried it out and I feel like
Yeah.
it came out nice, and I just have to like go with it.
So okay, great. But my suggestion is for the all the designer, we as a designer, we should have answer like behind the process, behind the decisions, each and every decisions. Why I
Mm,
use this color, right? Why
okay.
I use this typography. So you should have every question's answer. So
Okay.
that's my suggestions about it. But your landing page is very pretty much clean and clear. So I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So let me make an input here. I know you have you will say Francis has come again. Just get ready. Okay, so that's beautiful what you have there to start with. So I would prefer, yeah,
Hmm.
as a user, if I were to be the user of your project, I would prefer that I have less thing on on your hero section. I know you're into beats. One or
Mm,
two of them has told me everything, or you want to have a better way of displaying this than bringing everything all at once because there are way too much. And now the more beautiful ones are now receding because other ones are seeking for my attention. So for my hero section, I would rather stick to something that is less in number. I would rather use three items at most. Three is fair enough. Then your categories can now take me into further display of items that will keep me engaged throughout your use of your website. Trust me, every user can be distracted and as easily as possible they move away from your site. But you want a user to keep unraveling things and for you to continue to help them unravel is to make the arrangement, the array, interesting and attractive. So if I were to do this, starting from your hero section, I'll reduce the items and prompt the person to view more, like more of this inside by
okay.
creating my category, like featured products, be more interesting and looking more like a category that I can click and I'll go through a journey of items. Okay, I will still be able to return to that home page, go through the other accessories and move on. Okay, so I would prefer you have less things on your first entrance, but promising first things that will help me navigate your website and stick to it throughout the journey until I make a purchase. Okay,
All
so
right.
that's more like it. Your product is a rare product, so whoever comes to your site knows that food flags or refrigerators are not going to distract her. So she's coming looking for African products. Okay, so don't be afraid to lead them on a journey. Okay,
Okay. All right.
that's what I
I'll
have. Yeah.
thank you. I'll look into that.
You're welcome.
There is also accessibility issues like we you should check it out like the contrast ratio, is it past the triple A or double A?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's very much
Yeah.
important right now in this stage, the accessibilities. So
All right. Thank
please be careful with that, and play around with the layouts, and that will be much good option. And I add one suggestion like less is always more, less is always good,
you.
minimal design.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Less is more, just like you said, minimal design. And you know one thing, like modern day designs are minimal and but it's not distracting. It doesn't feel boring. Yeah, it's minimal and it's still not boring. So don't push yourself so hard that your user gets to start feeling stressed looking at your site. Trust me. Okay.
All
So
right.
on to the next. I have a lot of visual expectation from your side. Like it's a very interesting product that I might want to dabble around with, like just try my hands on a few things. It's an investment because Africa is very colorful. Africa has a whole lot of interesting visuals. And you can maximize it in your items depending on how creative you want to get about it. A lot of things are going on in my head as how we can make this site look so
Beautiful.
aesthetically appealing because it's a shopping site. But let's work with what you have here, which is a polygood. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
So he
Thank
mentioned contrast. You can look at that area where you have there are several classic wares and accessories. No, down, down, down. down
Okay,
to the
okay.
last
Here.
yes area. If the contrast is so low, someone can easily miss it. Yes, you
Okay.
pay attention to that. Remember, you're designing for the user, not for the beauty in your eyes. Trust me, it's not for you. So let's walk towards that. Let's look at the rest of your pages.
And I will suggest that you should explore the Untitled UI, that is free resources, and you can learn how what is a button size, what is a text size, uh, what is, what size should I prefer on my website or on the mobile app, which icon should I use. So these are the things that it makes very different. Like you should know, like, so these are the suggestions I will.
Thank you.
All right.
So let's
Thank
add,
you.
yeah, there are more screens we could look through. Let me
Okay.
see your footer.
Okay. Here's the photo.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't have much to say about that. Yeah. So think about consistency in your design. If you're using left alignment, just stick with it. If you're using center alignment, you can stick with it. Then think about spacing. The same thing about spacing consistency. Let no space be so wide and different from the rest of a similar spacing that will come along with it. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's go back to the next screen.
So this is the collections screen.
Now you can see there's okay. Let me not say a thing now. Let me let Deep talk on this one. I
And
want to.
I love
Yeah.
the logo actually. The logo,
Okay.
the logo of the brand.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, I want to say something like you also add like focus on your layers names. While you after designing, while hand off your design, it's very difficult for the developers to understand your decisions. Like, you understand my point? The layers
Not
names,
really.
the left hand side, your layers names.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
yeah. These are the things you can focus. So nothing more than that.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry to come in here. So Nika, you understand what he's trying to say? Your naming system in your layers. But funny enough, I missed that. You already know. You know the right thing to do, Sha. But now we are calling you out. Please do the right thing. Name your system properly. Now, whenever you're creating any design, please don't ever in your mind start thinking that this is just for me. See, if you get used to eating with your left hand at home, you will use that outside if you're not left-handed. So if you get used to not naming your files, your layers properly, you see how you brought it out to the stage now. We are all seeing it together. So these are things that you pay attention to. Start with industry standard. Don't do anything because you feel like, okay? Do it and get used to it. Sometimes it takes an extra work for you to, but the moment you're creating a layer, give it a name. Okay? When you're
All
creating a
right.
proper name, creating frames, give it a proper name, get used to doing it right, okay? Then from then it becomes an unconscious ability that you don't even get to think about it. You're already naming your files properly, okay? So that's not in any way to attack you, but just remember that always. I can see you have a very good library here, but this naming is actually one thing that is we need to talk about. So about your design now. So, like I always say, consistency is powerful. Consistency is powerful. So if you want to use images with background, stick to it. If you want to use images without background, like they said cutout or independent image like that, use it throughout. You get me? It's not too hard for you to start cropping the background, but if you don't want to crop the background, use the same size. If you're using squares, stick with squares throughout. So you find images. So for instance, I know that the reason why it's a little bit here and there is because you gather the images from the internet, right?
Yeah.
So that is why every company will have a professional photographer. So all their images look alike with similar backgrounds. Okay, so for this reason, if you were to search for images online, you search for images that are similar. So for the lady that is the first image you have here, the lady putting on a Kara dress, yeah, the very first one. You can see her image showed fully, and that's one way you can appreciate her outfit. Then we have the lady next to her zoomed in. Okay, so now there is no consistency. It's either you're using a full lady or you use half cut. Then if you want to display the zoomed in one and the full image, you can now make that visible or accessible in another side. Maybe create a page for them where you can look at different sizes of the image. So you remain consistent in your design. Okay. Then if you want to add some form of background or use your own created background, artificial background, use the same artificial background according to your branding. Be consistent with it throughout. Okay. So it made everything look a lot different. Then there is still another way you can arrange this thing and to look more beautiful. But I cannot underemphasize the fact that some images were rectangles, some are horizontal, some are portrait. Don't do that. Stick with one. If you want portrait, use it throughout. If you want what do they call it, horizontal lay, please stick with it. Consistency is very important. Then if you want to use the one that is full length, cut out, no background, it's also beautiful. So what I would do if my client supplies me with image with inconsistencies like this, especially for those ones that are cut out and the ones that are full, I can arrange all the cutouts in one line, then
Okay.
keep consistency in the other area. So when you look at it, you can find out that there is something about this. It's just like a runway show. If you're a fashion designer and you're doing a runway show, the clothes are not always the same, but there is something that will tell you that it's the same designer that created them from beginning to end. And during runway show, they say they're telling a story. So in similar case now, you're creating a design, you tell a story gradually. Okay, we don't get to hear someone say, oh, whatever it is, however you say that story, like story, once upon a time. But you're feeling that there is something, this person is leading me through a journey of beautiful things, and the person keeps appreciating and sticks longer on your site. And the person will look at it and be like, okay, it's one of those amateur websites. Let's look through. If there's anything I can find there I can buy, I'll look through and leave. But you want the person to stick and make conversions. Okay, so
All right.
that's it about this page. So maybe we can look at 2, 3 more pages and we will get through. So
This is a
that
beautiful page.
aside, please does any other person want to show her work in here? You have a design recent, maybe you're undergoing a hackathon or something.
Like I
Your
want to,
perspective.
sorry for that. I want to add some point. Like you have to understand the atomic design principles, how you can break down each sections into multiple small atoms and molecules. So you should learn or explore these type of things, and after that you get some good idea like how should I design this whole layouts. And there are lots more things like the psychological things. While user first enter on the page, he or she like scan the right hand side and left hand side of your page. So these are the things we, as a designer, we always remember on our mind. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Okay, that's great. So let's go into the next. Well, one thing I'm not so sure of because the screen is pretty tiny is I hope you are sticking with similar fonts. You're consistent with your fonts, you're not changing. Yeah, I hope
Yes.
you're not changing your typeface.
No.
Okay, you're consistent with it. So it's pretty tiny, so don't worry. Well, another thing is also the contrast. The text are a little bit faded.
uh,
Okay.
I can showcase one work, like one page that I designed, so I
Okay, go
can
ahead, please.
showcase. Yeah.
Yeah, so Nika, he's going to share his screen, then we'll get back to your skin, okay?
All right. All right.
Yeah. So is my visible my screen?
Not yet. I think you should stop sharing, Nika.
All
Okay.
right. I was.
Don't know why.
Is it visible right now?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay. So I want to tell, like, you have to understand the basic things. Like, this is the one page, right? Sorry. Yeah. Suppose this is the page. I talk about the atomic design, right? So atomic principles is all about, suppose this is the whole sections. This is the one sections, and you have to break down each and every components, every atoms, like what is the functionality behind the scenes. Like, it will increase your logical thinking. Like, if I, what is the functionality behind these, the atomic design principles is help you to out these type of things. And also I will talk about, like, the layouts, layers names that I already mentioned. Like, see how I naming the layers here. Like, I can easily understand which and where to go and what to change, right? So these are the things you should focus, like the shadows, the colors. Basically, I use a 14 pixels as a base size for the mobile and 16 pixel base size for the web app. So this is the small tips and tricks that I use. So yeah, there, these
Okay.
are the things. Is there any questions, like anything?
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice for you to share more of share a website?
Okay. Like,
Yes.
basically I work as under one company, so that's very restriction to
Oh, no
share
problem.
publicly, so that's the thing.
No problem. No problem. I think there was a site you designed sometime. I think that was your portfolio website you shared
Yes.
with me. So yeah, you still have it here.
Yes, I have something. So is it visible, right?
Yes, it is. This is on dark
Okay.
mode.
So yeah, I love the dark mode basically. So I talk about, like, there is some UX writing. This is very much important. Like, product design, UX design for the better world. So as a designer, I focus the better world design. So this is the key highlights point we should focus, like, as a designer. And yeah, I showcase some branding work, like graphic design work. These are the things, like I work a design for the logos for different brands, like furniture brands, edutech company, a small startup, and some like this is one of the top like one of the famous company, uh, Cloud Kitchen. I designed for their logos. And like I practice, like these are the design that I practice basically for my own purpose. I took up dribble shot, and like, this is the one example. I took up a dribble shot and, like, create for the mobile, for the desktop, and for the tablet also. Like responsive design, how should layouts can be changed and shifted from vertically to horizontally. So these are the things. Use a different color code to help me out to think, which is the best option, how should I change, how should I reframe this whole structure and layouts. So these are the practice type of things I work. And
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
You created all this on Figma or you created it on Framer?
Figma, and this portfolio are made in Framer.
Yes. Okay. So that makes it clear that You can work with multiple applications before you present your work. That's no
Yeah.
news to many of our practicing product
Yeah.
designers. So what we're here to do is to help you make your work much better. And
Yeah.
these are the work you submitted during the challenge. And we also threw the door open for anyone that has a current work she wants to share, joining us live to share so we can help you get it better. But that aside, we always want you to do the best and be the best so you can earn the best. Okay. We encourage you to look out for systems, design systems like what's the name of this site again? Why would I forget it now?
Untitled UI.
Sorry?
Untitled. Untitled UI. It's a free
Untitled
resource.
UI. That's
Yes.
one.
Very
And
famous. Yeah.
you have Google UI, the design system by Google. That's
Yeah.
material.io. You have iOS. So all these are meant to help you. And one thing
Mm.
you find out about them all is that they actually guide you to do the same thing. They're all similar. So if you choose one, which mine is my favorite is material.io by Google.
Okay.
And I try to be consistent with if I practice everything I learn from material.io. I practice them steadily. My work will be good. Then if I go elsewhere and learn something new, I adopt it. But at least if I follow everything that as it is meant to be through material.io, trust me, I won't be needing anybody to look at my work because I'm
So,
following the world standard of design. So please, I encourage you. There are some certain things we may not touch today, but all of them are listed in material.io. Please, you can type it on your site, material.io or design systems, Google design systems. So you're going to find material.io. It's available for Web3, is available for Web 2. I don't know whether the Web 2 is still working now, but Web 3 is there and it's there to help you get better. So some of us are self-taught. I understand some of us are self-taught or maybe got a scholarship for a boot camp that was not giving so much resources. So you went ahead to watch YouTube videos and got better at what you do. So now we're giving you more resources to follow. There are a lot of designers on YouTube that can assist you as well through self-training. The only thing you need to do is to be committed to growth. Look out for challenges, challenge yourself. So when I started, there were things I was doing. I didn't have anybody to mentor me. So what I was doing was if I see any job or any creative design someone creates and people commend, I quickly go and redesign it so that I'll see what the person applied. I'm not asking the person, I'm trying my hands on things I can apply to achieve this because there are always many ways to achieve one result, whichever one works for you. So since I was self-teaching as at then, I would try to replicate. And in the course of replication, I get better. And as I'm getting better, and I'm in a conversation that has to do with product design, UI, UX, and as they're talking, they mention something of that nature. I'll be able to grab what they're talking about because it's something I've tried on my own. Maybe I encounter a difficulty. I get back online, specifically looking for how to solve that one problem. Once I solve it, it ingrains in my understanding or my mind that this is how I can achieve this. So there's a whole lot of things are developing, things are growing. Figma is still surprising us. So everything is still happening. But the thing you need to do is keep learning. Don't stop. Don't stop. I haven't stopped. I'm still learning. I'm still improving. So now that Figma has added a few things, Figma slides, I'm transitioning to use Figma to create my slides now and see how I can present my work without using additional application. And there were other times we had to use other applications to present our work or transfer it to the front-end developers or back-end, anybody that is involved in the team. Now, Figma is giving me the privilege to do that inside one application, making life easier for me. So what you need to do is to keep learning, keep learning. If they are saying that UX engineers is the advent or is the latest, prepare yourself for growth. Okay, prepare yourself for growth. There are a lot of platforms that on YouTube, they are free code camp. Yeah, there's free code camp. A lot of them that are available that will teach you front-end development without calling a teacher. Yeah, without getting anybody, they are so easily explained. Free code camp makes it practical. So they're giving you assignments and teaching you how to do it. So with the assignment, you're creating a product as you're learning and you're feeling rewarded by what you're doing as you're learning and improving yourself. So please, if that is the latest, please improve on what you do and become employable as easy as possible. So I remember that particular time we had this call online when you had this I don't know, sometimes your employer might want to test your ability and give you a project. Just come up with a project for us and wow
Yeah.
us. So that was the
Mhm.
situation then, and he reached out to me. We were brainstorming that day. In fact, it was an
Yeah.
evening like this. Now I
Yes.
understand time it is because the timeline is different. As at then, I used to think you're on the same time with me. So it was around 7 o'clock. I didn't know it was midnight around then. And we were brainstorming until we came up with a solution. We didn't stop because as it was a challenge for him, it was a challenge for me not to know
Yeah.
what to do. You understand that thing? It
Yeah.
was going to beat my pride if I don't come with a solution with this. I can't imagine. You understand? It was another way for me to open my mind to seek other ways to solve this problem. So thankfully, Deep is a very smart guy. So as I'm coming up with ideas that he has tried or are not feasible, he's already telling me, I've tried this, it will not work. This may not
Yeah.
work. But at the end of the day, we were going home happy. So this
Yeah.
is the way it
Like,
is.
yeah.
Okay, go
Like
ahead,
I'm more
please.
interested. Yeah. Like I'm more interested in the UX research. So that's a more important thing for me. Like I very much indulge with the things, like with the peoples, to interact with the different peoples to understand their pain points.
Yeah.
So these are the things. So I love and enjoy it. So
Yes. So that's one good thing about a product designer. We are naturally people persons. If you're not very good with people, you can't be a good user experience designer. You get you get stressed. You might stress your users. You might push them or start giving them suggestions so that you get the job done quickly. But if you understand people and love spending time with people, you make a good user experience designer or user experience researcher. Then when it comes to UI, maybe you want to be that what do they call them? Tech bro that want to be inside your house designing and doing stuff the system. Cool for you. That works for some people. But if you must be a user experience person, user experience, you want to create experience for people, you need to understand them and you have to be able to get into to bring out their needs from them. So sometimes people know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. So if you're very good at asking the right questions, you help them come up with the need which you're going to solve and which you will sell back to them and they will pay you money and business happens. You understand the trick behind it. So that's why that's some a good part of a user experience design. Then I was talking about the other side, something I was about to mention then before this spoke up. We're talking about collaboration. Collaboration is the new competition. So Deep had something he had to do and he called me up and we got to talk about it. I took it up as a responsibility because I can't see him going through the stress and he mentioned it to me and I was like, okay, you go handle it by yourself. I don't think I know what to do. We had to slow it out. And when he was rewarded, I did not go back to work and get all the cheers and congratulations, but it's very good to work along with people because the challenge he faced and he was able to walk through, I was involved and it became an experience for me. So being a user experience designer, you should also work along with people. Seek counsels, work with mentors, work with coaches, work with teams.
yeah,
Teams are
one
people on the same, okay. Okay, you
yeah
say
one
something.
point I yeah one point I want to highlight, like uh, being a designer, we always be a open mind. Like there is many more negative feedbacks that's come up with comes up. Then we, being a designer, we should open up with open mind and think positively, not negatively. And my design is not like not in life due to this and this reason. So avoid these negative integers and be humble and be straightforward. Like if not, and what the reason. So that's the thing, like, and highlight. So
Yeah, I'm actually laughing because it's an experience to be a product designer. You are going to have some people, after all the hard work you've done, putting all the
yeah,
beauty out of it, maybe the product manager is telling you, this is not what I had in mind that you submit. Or someone is telling you, It's not what I had in mind. You have to make a drastic change to this
Yeah,
because we're changing the whole thing. Maybe that wasn't what we had in mind initially. Maybe we didn't really communicate it. You have to go back to the drawing board. It happens.
yeah.
Sometimes that's your beautiful idea is thrown out of the window. Do
Hmm.
not personalize it. That is what he's trying to say. So let
Yeah,
me not even add to what he said because that was just the point that a lot of us think it's not always roses, a bed of roses. No, it's sometimes it's as you're getting better, probably as you're getting higher, people will adopt what you say based on your experience. But you as a beginner, get ready for that and do not personalize it. So you're putting all your best to do the work does not mean it belongs to you. Do not cry. Do not don't hate
yeah,
people. It's not a personal attack. It's the work that is not accepted. And I've heard people come to me and say things like, my boss, can you imagine? He never likes anything I do. Have you done something differently? Have you tried to understand what he wants? Sometimes you just ask him, give me a similar product that appeals to you. Let me start from there and get it better. Okay? So working with your user is as good as working with your clients
yeah.
and your employer. Yes. So that's more like it. We have 6 more minutes to go. Please, we want to receive questions. Anything you want to be clear, or maybe something you want to attend to your challenge. We will answer your questions now before we leave.
And yeah, I like to give like I want to say something like
Mhm.
from next month I'm going to give like going to upload videos for the 100 UX research methodologies where that will be 3 minute shorts video where I will talk about the what's the important of that methodology, how should we conduct the methodologies in the different situations as a UX designer. So
Okay. Where are you uploading that? On LinkedIn or here on
YouTube,
YouTube?
YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay, that reminds me, there was something you posted recently about gamification and your business. So your
Yeah,
link.
gamification.
So
Yeah.
talk about that.
So basically, I was in a enterprise company, and I add like not I we as a design team add a gamification for the increase the engagement of the users. So that's how that triggers me up and write some articles in the LinkedIn. So what is the importance of gamifications and why should we sometimes why should we take up a gamification elements to different products. Why should add the gamification elements to a different products which is non gaming, like which is not gaming products, like recently LinkedIn add some gamification elements, like you
Yeah.
can
Yes.
these are
Yes.
the things to engage with the users, so very much important. So
Okay.
these are the things.
Yes. Gamification is actually becoming a thing now because recently during a training program I went through interaction design.
Yeah,
They emphasized the importance of gamification and before education became formal,
yeah,
we are educated through games. Song,
yeah,
sing a song, games, play along with me, imitate what I do, follow the leader kind of thing, and learning gets imprinted. So same thing is coming to the digital world, which is fun because when your network is down and you cannot browse, you start playing the dinosaur with the Google Chrome from the Google
in a
Chrome.
Google, yeah, Chrome.
Yeah.
Chrome are
Then
used to.
The Microsoft Edge will give you the soft guide. It's actually pretty animated. It has more UI design, better interface than the dinosaur. And now the dinosaur has a 3D version of it. It was so interesting when I saw it. Like, it's crazy going on out there. I'm not saying crazy as bad, but crazy interesting because there is always a place you can thrive. So probably you go into game designing as a UX designer because there is a whole lot of things you can do. You can go into interaction, conversational designer. You create the response AI is going to give to someone. Someone actually designed that. Do not underestimate your ability. So look out for jobs that a user experience designer can go into. There's a whole lot, a list of them. So I'll drop that in the group so that you might try your hands in it. Someone has a question for you, Deep. I think Am I missing out questions coming from the YouTube live? How come I'm not seeing questions here? Let me
There's lots of
let me check.
lots.
See if I
Yeah.
missed something. So someone has a question for you. Say, what are the opportunities that exist for a product designer today in the world? Okay, that's actually what I just spoke about. But I'm going to let you answer her. Thank you. Hi, Deep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Can you? Sorry, I'm. That was some blunder. So can you repeat that question?
Okay, the question says, what are the opportunities that exist for a product designer in today's world? What are the opportunities?
See, according to me, in my country, the design field are saturated, so you have to very careful and be mindful to how to approach to the managers, right? You can give a cold email to your manager or something like interesting post that you can upload it on YouTube on a daily basis, which highlights your thing, and from this you can get the opportunities, I guess so. And yeah, that's the thing. I hope I answered these questions. You are mute.
I'm muted. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
So I like the fact someone is actually busy dropping in the live comments, live chats in the
yeah,
in the on the YouTube channel. So I'm just saying that thank you very much, doing that was amazing. And if anyone joining us late is going to read what you have dropped in there, and it's pretty
yeah.
impressive. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So back to what you're saying, job opportunities for user experience designer or user interface as product designer in one word, UI UX. There are a lot of them. And like you said, you have to be careful for what is in demand and what you can do. And
And
now in the advent of AI,
like we have to very much specify like where we should apply as a design role. There is lots of companies, lots of sectors, healthcare, edutech, many more sectors like startup, MNC. So you have to be mindful of where I should focus on, and yeah, do
so
the work.
firstly, you start with the industry, then you decide. Now, there was a video, a program I watched on Netflix that was, what's the name? Social Dilemma. So
Social
Social
diet.
Dilemma was talking about how social media started and grew up. So people that actually made comments in that program were people in that made impacts in our social media experience, including the person that created the Infinity Scroll on Facebook, or yeah, the Infinity Scroll. Yeah. So he or she, I can't remember the gender again because there were a whole lot of people they were talking. It was pretty exciting because this is my field, designer. So something that I love to. So I was like, oh, someone actually created this Infinity Scroll. Oh, there you are, found you. And this person created the like button. So they came in various forms, which was very interesting, learning that people actually did that,
Okay.
user experience designers. So you can do that. You want to create an experience for your user. So for instance, you go to the chair to the hospital, and someone shared an experience with me in one of my training programs, one of my
Yeah.
students. So she said, according to, because I usually give them assignments based on their experience. I give you to create a solution for what you're experiencing. That is your first step to innovation. So this lady says her own problem was the fact that she goes to the hospital, they attend to her. When they are done with the routine visits, they send them forms to respond to. And she felt that those forms they sent to their email can be created in such a way that I don't have to repeat things I've submitted earlier. So it can be generated, and I feel only what I needed to feel that brought me to the hospital for that day. So it's more focused than me filling a whole long list of forms again, my ID and everything. I don't necessarily need that. So there should be a solution. Then I was like, here comes the solution. You are the solution. Come up with how we can solve that, and we're going to
Yeah.
walk through the process. So you as a designer, a product designer, look out for first an industry. where you need to supply your
Mm.
help, then think of how the tiny help you can bring in. So this person's case was just the form.
Yeah.
She told me that the hospital already has an app, a web app that you
Mm.
can go and browse and make every kind of experience. That means the app exists, but there
Yeah.
is a need, and a small need that you can be the solution to. So that
Mm.
might be where you might be solving the problem. Someone saw that Facebook existed and you used to scroll, maybe Instagram, and you scroll to the end and you stop seeing things. That's the end. Finally,
Yeah.
somebody said that we don't want you to end and leave our app. We want you to continue scrolling till infinity, to infinity, and did it. So you as a product designer is a problem solver. You should try to see where you can solve a problem, where you are needed, and that becomes a job for you. So
Yeah.
remember that the focus is innovation, disruption, and navigating new frontiers. So if
Mm.
that is your focus, you will not be looking for job because people are applying for that job. You'll be looking for
Mm.
where you'll be relevant.
Mm.
Okay, yes, I know it's not such a big thing or an easy thing for us here in Africa, but there are people looking out for you. All you need to do is to put your heads down and look out for people that are looking for you. Even if you're working in a certain place, see how you can bring innovation into the system. Then you will not be out of job. Trust me. Even if you're a freelancer, you'll not be out of job if you are busy
Yeah.
creating solution and pitching your strengths or your solutions. Okay.
Like day
Okay,
by
so
day, day by day, the UX job is more higher. Like the opportunities of the UX designer is maximized. Like it's upgrading. So you have to learn and understand the things, how it works, how industry work, and yeah, you have to strategize everything, each and everything, from your approach to design decisions to a portfolio. That's it. Anything?
okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I yeah, I muted myself. So that's great. I believe we had a session today. Am I right?
Yeah.
Please, I need your thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever.
Any like
Just give me a
and
feedback that okay, you want to say
meanwhile
something?
I have to add something. Like this is my first uh, webinar that I joined. So if there are any mistakes I took up, so sorry for that. And
It's okay,
by
yeah.
keeping in my mind, and I will.
You did amazing well. You know one thing, like I told you, this is between you and I. We are here. It's as though every other person is not here. So just have fun. And you did pretty well because we used to have live conversations like this. We don't have to record it, but it's still virtually the same thing. So there is no error, don't bother yourself. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I appreciate you, Dr. Ramatu, for joining us. I can see your thumbs up. I hope the rest of the people that are joining us live gives a thumbs up to this. And yes, we're going to come live again with someone else. Yes, Nike, thank you for joining us and also presenting your work. That was amazing. And even the boldness to share your work. Some people wouldn't because they feel like someone is going to see my errors. No, you get better when you are helped. And what is recorded can be improved. A closed mouth cannot be fed. So if you show up, you'll be helped. And that is exactly what you did. And we appreciate you for that. Then for those that will be watching this live, feel free to leave your comments, ask your questions. We will answer the questions in the comments. What we need is you are making the step of getting better. Okay. Thank you for the time, the conversation, Deep. I really appreciate you for do I say selling your sleep to be here with us? We really appreciate it. It's just 9:37, 8:37 here. And over
Yeah.
here, I'm sure it's looking at 1 a.m.
One, yeah, one
Yeah,
year.
1 a.m.
Yeah,
And he's going to work
uh,
tomorrow. I'm
not
so
an
grateful.
issue. Like,
So he has always said, I want to meet you guys. I want to meet you guys. And he has done that. We'll get back again. We'll come back again. Probably he's going to share a live project with us and go
yes,
through.
definitely.
Yes, projects. We've been planning this live with Dean for a long time, and I'm also considering his time difference. something I don't joke with. So that notwithstanding, thank you, Promise. Thank you for the thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Feel free to drop in your questions
Yeah.
much later and we will respond to it. Our YouTube is where you can drop the questions because it's already live and people can reach out and we'll respond as soon as we see your questions. Then also follow him on LinkedIn, follow Deep Gosh on LinkedIn
Yes.
and his YouTube platform, his YouTube
Yeah.
channel, follow it. You're going to see more interesting topic coming
And
up soon.
also read my case studies on the Medium. Uh,
Yes.
it will
Yeah,
help
your
you out
case
for sure.
study. I went through that case study so detailed. He mentioned atomic design system
Yeah,
and he showed it step by step in the medium.
definitely.
So click the link. It's already in the group. You can click the link. I'll also put it in the description
Yeah.
of the YouTube description of the YouTube channel. This place is streaming live so that you can click on it and check it out. Yeah, you have a comment, you have a question, reach out to him. His LinkedIn is working and he has a whole
Yeah.
lot in back for us. So thank you for joining us. It's amazing having you guys here. And we don't have any other option than to say good night and have a beautiful rest of the evening.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
So, hello. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you a lot.